good trick actually.
Without information, these pictures don't work.
Right.
Or if they are lost, they cannot be made.
There are some not relevant slides. Okay, but we'll get to those in 2 seconds. But let us get to the introduction. Let's go through the introduction first. Like the areas for issues. Did you want to add?
Actually, I wanted to speak about the content.
Okay.
Not the introduction. So
Well, that's part of the content, right? But let's look at the introduction. In the introduction, did I give you a full view of what will be talked about? More or less?
You said about this transition from this state to the final state, but you didn't say what you were going to stop at. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And I think yes.
And may I ask you a question? While beginning your presentation, should you give just a clear topic? Just because
I think it was implied, but I think I could have started today. We're going to talk about yoga and meditation. I could have started that way to make it more clear, and it was implied. And I think that with Pechakucha, I wouldn't necessarily start that way because the slide, like, you're more concerned with connecting the information with the slide. And the listener has to connect more. They have to listen more. If I say, today I'm going to talk about this, it's so clear it's almost boring, right? But I think I could have said a little bit more on it in terms of like the steps. Yeah. First I'm going to talk about yoga, and then I'm going to talk about meditation and how they can help us do it.
Or maybe not yoga exactly, but kind of exercise or things that you can do on your daily basis that will help you.
Sure.
Because that would intrigue the listener. So you're not opening all the cards to say that it's yoga, and maybe somebody doesn't care about yoga exactly.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. Okay, so now this is an issue, right?
Yeah.
How did you feel when it was up there? Were you listening to me or were you reading it?
A little bit.
Reading it.
Panicky because
I
couldn't do it.
this is what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. So this was an example. I wanted you to feel what it's like when you can't read it fast enough and listen. Because I think it was easy for me to say, yeah, just 3-4 words. This one was I think this was okay, even though it was 4 words. But I remember seeing a Pechakucha for the first time and trying to read something and just being really angry because it went too quickly. And so I wanted you to know what that felt like. Yeah.
May I add a little bit? This is okay if it is a quotation by someone famous, but there is no sign that it is a quotation. There are no quotation marks.
Yes.
There is no reference to someone who said it, and actually, you said in some research, but you did not mention actually what research you used. Probably that would be my last slide when I give the reference list or something. Or it will be just the indication of names of the researchers.
So what I would actually ask the students to do, I'm glad you picked up on that because I did that on purpose. Said research shows, some research, da-da-da. What I might have done is I would have said their names verbally. But I also, this is not okay to have this many words, right? But I would have said, according to Brene Brown, Dr. Brene Brown, meditation, according to her research in X, Y, and Z journal, meditation is blah, blah, blah. So I would have said it verbally, but I wouldn't necessarily have put that person's name on the slide because that would have ruined the image. Okay, so in terms of organization, this was more or less the introduction, right? And then we got to here, and then we had the transition into what it is, what the different elements are. I think that the introduction is too long. It's 6 slides out of 20. And if we look at yoga, How many slides is yoga? Only 3. And then meditation, how many slides is meditation? It's at least 7, maybe even 8, because there's also the picture of the woman in line, right? So obviously the parts are not balanced. And so
meditation is the way to escape stress. So you kind of change the topic. So because in general it is how to get unstressed, yes, and then it should sound like meditation is one of the most advisable ways, the most recommendable ways to manage.
Or what I would probably, the feedback I would give a student would be that they need to show the same kind of information also for yoga.
Yeah.
So that it's very clearly, because yoga is not clearly supported. There's not enough information about it to jump to the conclusions that I was jumping about according to this particular presentation. So that's where it's an issue. And you can see that by having these, it's really helpful in terms of assessment. So even if you want to have the students do the Pechakuchas online, I would still have them send me their PowerPoint so I can look at it in this form, because it will be easier for me to see in terms of content and organization what's going on. Okay, so enough of
As for
that.
a listener, I think that the number of meditation pictures is good, because meditation is more comfortable with every person. Yoga is more complicated, it needs a lot of training. So, and this picture with the Tao, also it's every day or once a week, very often, it's very close to a listener.
Okay.
That's why maybe I have to protect what you have done. The more is meditation. Yoga, if somebody is interested in yoga, you may have a special presentation about only yoga and do it. But
okay, I see what you're saying. But I think like the argument was that people should use yoga and meditation to create less stress in their lives.
To avoid stress. But yoga is very difficult. Meditation.
It can be difficult. It just takes practice.